What's up guys, Captain Coin Collector here. I got my scale out today and we're going to talk about the 1982 transitional year copper cents. Which one to hold on to and which one to put back into circulation. So I got a bag of pennies here from one of my recent hunts. These are all 1982 examples of the transitional year penny. Now we have a few of them here. 1982, like I said, was a transitional year for the United States penny. The penny went from a composition of 95% copper and 5% zinc for pennies minted before 1982. For pennies minted after 1982, pennies are composed of 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper. Meaning that 1982 was the transitional year. This was the year that they decided to make the change over from copper to zinc pennies. 1982 was a big year for the penny. With billions of pennies minted, they couldn't just stop production of the penny, so they went from that copper example to that zinc example in the same year, hence having some copper coins and some zinc, both of which are different weights. The main way to tell the difference between these two pennies is their weight, and that's why I had the scale out earlier. Let's go ahead and bring it back out. So here we got the scale out, and as you can see, this is a 200 gram weight, so we're just going to make sure that our scale shows about 200 grams. 200.06 is good enough for me. A copper penny from 1982 and below, with a 1982 being the transitional year, should weigh about 3.1 grams. So if we put this on the scale, we'll see that it gets a weight of 3.09. That means that this penny is correct. It is a copper cent, 95% copper, 5% zinc. The penny switched from this composition to that 97.5% zinc, making the penny way less than its predecessor at about 2.5 grams, as you see here. There is a possibility, however, that these coins do have errors. And the most notable example of this error is the 1982 Denver small date bronze Lincoln cent. Another way to tell the difference between these types of pennies is if we get a closer look at these pennies. The copper cents have the large date compared to the small date you'll see on the 1982 and newer coins. If we look at a penny from 1983, for example, we'll see the same font as the 1982 small date. That means you know that you have the zinc coin. But because it was a transitional year, 1982, there are some examples where you might have the large date that is the zinc coin, or the small date would be actually a copper coin. And some of these errors fetch some good money, like that 1982 small date from the Denver Mint that is a bronze coin, so that 95% copper, 5% zinc composition. The first example of that coin being copper appeared in 2016 and sold at auction for almost $19,000. A second example sold for $11,000, and the third coin $8,400. So as the coin became more popular and people were aware of this error, more examples came into circulation. And of course the price drops, but still it's an expensive coin to find today. So we're gonna weigh all of our 1982 pennies that we have here that I showed you at the beginning of the video, just to see if we have any of those errors. So now we have the coins separated into two piles here. One of the piles is the 2.5 grams, the other is the 3.1 grams. So we're gonna look for the 3.1 grams to see if we have any of that 1982 Denver And if we do, that's $1,000 coin right there. If we don't, all the coppers that we do save will go into our copper jar. Our copper jar means that hopefully one day the United States will see that the penny is no longer in use and will allow collectors to melt their coins. Currently, doing that is illegal, but the reason why we hoard copper is because one day, hopefully, it won't be illegal and we can melt our pennies for a profit. As a penny at today's copper melt value is worth about 3 cents. So each penny that you do have that's 3.1 grams is worth about 3 cents worth of copper. So 3 times the value. So we'll put these aside and start looking. So as shown here, we don't have the 1982 small date copper cent from the Denver Mint, but we do have a few coins to present here. These are your copper coins, these are your zinc coins. The best way to tell them for this year, in conclusion, is by weight. If it's the older version, it would have that 95% copper and would be around 3.1 grams. If it's the newer version of the coin, it would be 2.5 grams roughly and be composed of 97.5% zinc. There are more errors within these coins to go look for, in addition to the newer mints such as the 1983. Some of the 1983 coins do contain copper, so that's another coin with a high premium to look out for. And if you want to see that hunt, don't forget to click on this next video. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, happy hunting.